Good evening and welcome to the Security Watch India conference on the 9th of December 2009 here at the Hotel Lalit, New Delhi. And with me is Mr. Steve Kettle, who is the Chief Executive Officer of CTAP of the UK. Welcome to India, Steve.
Welcome. Thank you for your hospitality.
Steve, could you give us, our viewers, a brief background about yourself, your education and your work experience, which brings you here to India?
Yes, I was a UK police officer for 32 years, but 25 of those were in counter-terrorism. I was a special branch officer dealing with national security and counter-surveillance. I was fairly early on in 1984, after the Brighton bomb, where the IRA tried to blow up Mrs. Thatcher. I was on the first ever search course, which the 25th anniversary is tomorrow, the 10th of December. So that was the first course. I then moved up through the ranks and through the structure in counter-terror search, but also became a counter-terrorist planner for London Stansted. So I did a lot of the plans around hijack aircraft and the management of hostage and terrorist siege situations regarding explosives. I also wrote big counter-terrorist exercises to test the plans and make sure that they're fit for purpose. But my two main jobs, I was invited by the UK Home Office to write a counter-terrorist manual for security coordinators, went back to my own force, and then less than a year later got appointed as the National Instructor for counter-terrorist search. And within that role I trained UK police officers to search for explosives, but also foreign students from all over the world. As the National Instructor, I also trained what we call police search advisors. These are the people that manage and plan the big explosive searches before royal visits and Commonwealth Games. And those students included from America. And I took my team out to Uganda for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in 2007, where I was privileged to be part of the counter-terror search to protect Her Majesty the Queen and the 57 other heads of government that were there. So I've been about a bit.
Right. Very good, Steve. What we'd like to know, Steve, is, for example, you presented an excellent session, an excellent presentation on the security of large events.
Yes.
Large in Britain would be, small in India, given the population size and given the number of people that you've seen in the cricket matches or a football matches or whatever. Now,
but
how
you
do
keep winning, that's the thing.
No, we don't keep winning. We are on a winning streak now. And we admire English cricketers, no doubt.
That's fine.
How do we protect such a large and diverse population when they come to sporting events, and nobody really wants to go through this endless waiting, or people generally hate security procedures?
Well, as a professional, I would advocate that virtually everybody gets searched. There should be no opportunity for somebody to slip through the net. However, being realistic, and particularly the Commonwealth Games, it's a sporting event. It's not a security event per se. It's only the circumstances in which we're in nowadays that make it that. So within the general duty of care to people, it might be that you have search and baggage and rapid scan to x-ray baggage and etc. But that you don't do that to everybody. But you don't lay down what the system will be, so that as somebody turns up, they don't know if they're going to be subject to search or not. So if their plan is to get something into the venue, an IED, and make it function, they don't know if they're going to get searched. If you augment that process with a system, as we were talking about in there earlier, what's called predictive behaviour profiling, whereby experts can show and see, either through CCTV or actually having people on the ground, people that aren't actually working just right. They're not doing what people normally do. I'll give you an analogy at an airport. You're either going to fly out, or you've arrived, okay, or somebody's coming to pick you up or drop you off, or you work there. So if your behaviours are outside those parameters, then you should draw the attention of security personnel who are trained to look for that. And they then come up to you and ask you what we call security questioning. Because if you are a terrorist, you do not want to be confronted until you've managed to do what you want to do. And there's a vulnerability for you, the terrorist, which I think is superb. In terms of the numbers, it's a big challenge I'm not too sure how the Indian people will take to the level of security that I think should be there, even with this, even with a sort of a 1 in 10 or 1 in 20, and I'm just picking numbers out of the air there. The thing is, you cannot profile somebody. When I use the word profile, I don't mean that from an ethnicity point of view or from the colour of their skin. I mean what they're doing, what their behaviour is. So it matters from what part of India you come, from where you're, from what your religion is or your cultural beliefs are. You should not be pictured and set to one side for a security check just on that base alone. It's your behaviour that we're interested in.
The difficult part of spotting behaviour is it is entirely subjective, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and that's why before you actually implement the programme, you need to see an awful lot of video footage. You need to see how people act in various scenarios as the norm. Once you establish that norm, then that gives you a guide to your behaviour predictability. And using CCTV to detect people going down certain routes. When you go down a corridor that has got nothing on either side of it, you should only be going forward or back. So if you're doing anything different, the CCTV nowadays can pick that's called anomaly detection. And so it may be that there's a small door there that you're looking to see if it's open to secrete your rucksack in or something like that. But again, so there's all sorts of things that can be done. The trick is to get that balance right between security and people enjoying themselves.